everybody, thank you so much for tuning in, and welcome to episode 6. We have a dear old friend of ours here joining us, K-pop, how you doing? You looking fresh as always?
I'm doing well, Johnny from the blog. Hi, Clayton. Thank you so much for joining us. I am so grateful for you being on here. My gratitude for you being on our show is amazing.
My grandmother would
I'm in
say
the
you
middle
were
of a
the
hurricane. I'm in the middle of a hurricane right now. So if I get blown away, just know I love you guys.
Hey, if you get blown, we can't stream it on TikTok. I'm just saying.
Community guidelines and all.
All right, so let me tell you a little bit about Clayton. Clayton's a paramedic in one of Canada's busiest urban services. Father of 2 boys, 10 and 17. Husband to Natasha for the past 18 years. They've been married 18 years. She's a daycare owner, wife of the same 2 boys. Wife to and mother to the same 2 boys as Clayton. And Natasha is an MS survivor. Diagnosed with asymptomatic in 2019. Currently receiving, help me out with that word, Osrivus?
It's Ocrevus is the name of it. It goes by another generic name, but it's super long-winded, so we'll just call it Ocrevus for now.
Ocrevus B-cell infusion treatments every 6 months. Clayton.
Well, she's a warrior. Please let her know that we're rooting for her over here because I am. She's become one of my favorite people after I read all about this. So keep going.
Yeah. No, she's something else. She's a trooper. She never lets it show. She's good with the kids. She's she's a wonderful human being, and I'm very lucky to be married to her for so long.
You are, and I'll just add in, she's freaking hot too. Yeah! That's just my personal opinion. She's a freaking.
Can I get a description?
How would I describe her? She's a brunette. She's short. She's pocket sized. I like him that way. So she's I don't know how to describe her. She's a hottie. She's my wife, and I love her to death.
I'm gonna show you the pictures on his Facebook. She's he definitely punched above his weight on that one. No offense, Clay.
No, hey, I'll take it.
Hey,
I'll take it.
Chris, you want to take us off? You want to go for the first question we have?
Yeah. So I have a off-random question. How long have you been living in Canada for? You from there originally?
Yeah. So I'm 37 years old, been living in Canada my whole life. Yeah.
Hey?
Prairie boy.
Prairie boy. I've always wanted to go to Canada. All right. So, let's see that I'm not copying it right. Just give me a second. Bear with me. I got this. Okay. So, I probably didn't screenshot all of it. So,
we don't have to go in a particular order. I mean, whatever you come up with. Yeah, there's no order.
Okay.
We're not the most organized people.
All right. We both suffer from severe ADHD.
We're all real spicy on this call anyway. So
yeah.
See, Clayton, you're the man. So, I want to know, dealing, with your beautiful wife's condition, what does it impact you as the husband and the children? Are you guys a great support group for her? Which I'm sure you are, but how do you support what's going on with her to make her feel physically better and internally better at the same time?
I think the best way to answer that is it's kind of ever evolving. I take my role supporting Natasha as whatever she needs at any particular moment. Sometimes that's physical support. Sometimes it's emotional support or mental support. Sometimes it's just to be there and just kind of be around her for emotional releases. Like I said, she was diagnosed asymptomatically initially, so she didn't have any symptoms of MS when she was diagnosed. That was about 6 years ago now, 5-6 years ago now. So she's since progressed to having some symptoms. So my role has changed drastically in that time, from more of a emotional support or a mental support to somebody who's now I have to do physical things and helping her. She's not consistently having symptoms. Like I said, today was a good day, but when she does have kind of her bad days or her off days, my role becomes more of a physical support, right? Helping her do her daily tasks, bathing, cleaning, all that kind of stuff, right? As well as the household chores, right? So cooking, cleaning, all that kind of stuff.
Love
kind of
What is
that.
a bad?
Oh, no, go ahead.
What is a bad day like? Like, what do you consider a bad day?
Well, I mean, right now she's asymptomatic, so she's not having any
Okay,
pain,
so
she's not having any neuropathy, any of that kind of stuff. When she does have bad days, they generally vary. Usually, because of her B cell infusion treatment, it is every 6 months. So we notice that around month 5, month 4.5-ish is when the symptoms kind of start to progress a little bit. It usually starts with
okay,
fine motor skills type things. Hands and feet tend to go numb, some pain, some tinglings in her extremities, and then sometimes it can progress to the point where, like just the other day, she had a hard time walking. Right, so she was kind of she does carry a cane with her wherever she goes, just in case she has these symptoms when she's out and about. But yeah, sometimes they can progress so bad that I have to carry her to bed, kind of a thing. Right, so yeah.
That's got to be incredibly difficult. I mean, honestly, just
absolutely.
hearing this and knowing what you go through as the head of your family, and this is not a anti-feminist thing.
No.
It's okay to be traditional in those senses of you're the dad, you're the husband, you're the paramedic. I mean, you know this field, and being in that situation can't be easy for any father or husband to go through this. So let me ask you, in your own mental health and coping with these situations, how are you holding up? Like, it's hard to be that bridge that holds everybody up. How are you handling it yourself?
I would say, I'd be lying if I said I'm thriving. There's obvious challenges. There's obviously things that we go through. I think it's important for me, at least, to mention to the listeners too that you need to prioritize your mental health. You need to invest in your own mental health. I think a lot of times when we're going through struggles and we're going through hard times, we have a tendency to just kind of put our head down and we're just like, I'll just power through this section. I'll just power through this point, and everything will kind of be better. And that doesn't help anybody in the long run. I don't think. I think you need to prioritize and need to make a conscious effort to deal with your own mental health and deal with things that you enjoy, and find different things that you can rely on and relate to and do. And yeah, taking it seriously, taking mental health seriously.
Yeah, a lot of times we go into survival mode. K-pop,
Right.
when you're just going into survival mode, you just get through, and then by the time you come out of A, the situation, or B, realize what you're involved in. Can't hear you, K-pop.
Sorry, because
There
somebody
you
keeps
go.
calling in. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, but your video went off.
Hold on, I know it went out. I'm sorry, guys. I'm coming right back. Promise.
No problem.
All right, here I am. Yeah, me and Johnny actually, I deal with mental shit. I deal with mental problems all day, internally as a mom. Um, I have twins. I'm a parent. I was gonna be an EMS worker too.
Okay.
There, because it says.
No, we
Can you hear me?
I know you're just for everybody when they're recording. Chrissy's K-pop's in Florida right now. Hurricane Helena is likely messing with a lot of interference for our cell service. So
It is. It
it's
is.
going to be
It
what's
is.
going to be. But thank you for getting on here tonight. K-pop. I know you got a lot of stuff going on too.
Of course. No, I wouldn't miss this, but I want to get back to Clayton. Can you
Go
hear me,
for it.
Clayton?
Sure can.
Okay, so yeah, I was saying that I was gonna be an EMS worker too, by the way, but I passed the where I had to do it in front of them. I forgot what it was called. But I didn't pass the test, like the written test. I passed the physical exam, but I didn't pass the test. So I
Okay.
never got to do it. But I learned a lot of cool stuff. I got to ride on the ambulance and all that good stuff. So props to you with that. But mental health I deal with, I kind of shut down sometimes. I kind of shut down. And Precious Trauma podcast actually was like birthed through mine and Johnny's mental breakdown.
Yeah.
And it was a
Yeah.
way for us to help ourselves and help others. Because like we don't feel alone, knowing that everyone else is suffering with things just the way we do. Like, and it could be the smallest thing. Like, I'm fucking broke. I struggle daily, and that's one of my biggest things with depression, especially having all these kids, and I want to go back to school. Oh, well, just a short class, but I deal with it. I mean, this podcast helps me, and it is
Yeah.
it is very important, like you said, Clayton, that you have to take care of yourself mentally, because if I'm not okay, this whole entire fucking household is not okay.
Yeah.
It is. It is. It
You
is
brought you
distraught.
Chris,
So
King Pop, you brought up a really good question, and it's something that I thought about. If you don't mind, I'm going to ask him
Sure.
about the medical system in the United States is different from the medical system in Canada. So, how does the cost of serious illness weigh on you and your family through this situation that you're dealing with?
Well, you're exactly right. The medical system between Canada and the United States is very different. I'm not going to say that we do things perfectly here, and I'm sure that you would agree that the United States doesn't do things perfectly at all either. I think that there's a lot of ways that we can improve the system, but without belaboring the politics of it, I think that at least I don't have to shoulder the burden of financial responsibility as much when it comes to Natasha's illness. There is certain costs that are associated with it, but the reality is it's much lessened here than it would be, elsewhere in the world. And we're so grateful for that. I think her infusions, we looked it up in the United States, would have been about $75,000 a pop. So it's $150,000 a year.
Correct.
For her infusions, and that would bankrupt us.
and she
There's
wouldn't.
no way.
The problem with the states is that they find other things more important than help that people actually need.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna get into it because I'm gonna stir up a whole pot.
Yep.
And I'm gonna enrage people, I'm sure. But see, I'm grateful for you guys that you're up there,
Mhm.
and she has to get these kinds of medical treatments, because who can afford to live and survive, and
No.
you're gonna be sitting out there robbing banks,
Yep.
to help your wife, live,
Yeah,
and who
absolutely.
wouldn't do that, because I would, I
100%.
I would, when it comes to anyone that I love in my family, especially my family, if God forbid, if somebody has a bad medical condition and we can't afford it, it's just like, hey, I'm sorry, I don't know.
Yep. Yep.
There's people that are dying here because they
Yep.
can't get medical help. But let me just shut up, because I was about to
Yeah.
go into a whole.
That's
Let
a
me
whole
just
other
shut
thing.
up.
That's a whole other thing. Let's
Right.
keep the focus on Clayton. Well, we have him. We got plenty of stuff we complain about, and it's all accurate and true. Chris, you want to go for the next one?
Yeah. So tell me, can I just ask my own questions
Go
too?
for
Is
it,
that
dude.
okay, John?
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right, cool. So tell me about your boys. What are they into?
Well,
What is it like being a father of two boys? I have two boys, two girls. So
it's chaos. I mean, I'm sure you know it's utter chaos. I have a 17-year-old. My son is 17
me
years
too.
old, and he's learning to drive. Pray for us. He is.
I'm praying.
He's a good kid. He's got a good head on his shoulders, but he's a typical 17-year-old. Like I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Like I can't tell him one way or the other. He's got to figure out his own way the hard way. And I was the same way. I was stubborn and bullheaded too when I was his age. So I can't even fault him for that. He comes by it naturally, right? So he's a good kid. He's got a good head on his shoulders, and he's used to be in a couple sports. Now I think his focus is mainly on girls, and it's kind of sports is kind of taken a back burner to that for now.
To the new sport.
But yeah, exactly, right. But and then I have my youngest. He's 10 years old. He's into basically anything that has a motor. That's his big thing right now is quads, dirt bikes. We live out in the country out here, so he's got ample room to drive and smash things up and fix them again, and all the kind of things that he likes to do. So he's a good kid as well. He's trying to make friends with everyone, and both my kids seem to be really easygoing, especially when it comes to Natasha and her illness. they've really kind of stepped up.
We
I'd say,
lost K-pop.
my youngest is I think my youngest is a dad's kid. Just because like he likes to get his hands dirty with me, he likes to fix shit, so we do all that kind of stuff together, right? But both of them have taken on a very protective role over Natasha. They're very concerned and very, attentive to her needs, and they've been really good about it. They've, at no point is she wanting, right? Like they're always there by her side to help her through things. They're really good. They're really good kids, and they have really stepped up to this kind of stuff. And I have to applaud them, and I do as much as I can. I tell them all the time that I appreciate them and they're good kids. And, I think that, and I think it's important to note that, because I don't know a lot of other kids in this situation, but I don't know if a lot of other kids would be the same way, be so good with their parents.
I think you lucked out. And I think that it speaks to your and Nat's raising of them. And, you raise compassionate, well-adjusted young people. And, I hate to say it, there are a lot of kids in situations who would not react to that. There wouldn't be an understanding of what the situation is to where they would react what we would consider badly to it. But it's not reacting badly. It's just that, that's how they're coping with their situation that they're dealing with. And, it's hard. Mom and dad are essential to everything, and something goes wrong with mom, it's scary. But again, that speaks volumes to you guys and your method of raising your kids. We lost K-pop a little bit. I think she might be having some issues down there because of the hurricane, so we'll just wait for her to pop back on. But we'll continue up a little bit. I want to talk about when me and you met, when we're on a game. We're not plugging it because we're not getting paid from it. But it involves Star Trek, and you command a fleet. That's all I'm going to say. And Shep 86 over here.
That's right.
Yep. We were playing, and we were hard bought it. Like, I was into it, you were into it, we were all into it.
Right.
Tim was into it. We were just like,
Right.
it was every day. And when we were playing, that's when COVID hit back in 2020, when it started to hit really bad. And got to tell you, what you went through up there as a paramedic. Can you tell us a little bit what that was like? I know everybody's thinking COVID's past, but, it's still there. It's still happening. People are still denying vaccine viability, and I respect everybody's opinion. But, you're entitled to do with what as you please. You shouldn't be forced to take anything by the government you don't want to.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Talk
a little bit how it was during the first months, because I remember they were burning you out.
Absolutely. The burnout was real, and I don't know if it's really gotten any better since then. If I'm going to be entirely honest with you, the call volumes being what they are, there's the socioeconomic issues. I'll touch on that in a second. But I think what really, what was really the biggest issue with the pandemic when it started was the lack of information that we got, and the lack of support from our management, our supervisors, and the general health community as a whole really became problematic. We didn't know a lot going into this pandemic. We didn't know what it was really going to do, what the symptoms were, how it really affected people. And we were kind of just thrown to the wolves and just asked to kind of make do with whatever we could and to just kind of figure it out as we go. And, given the fact that it was a global health emergency and everything that was going on, there was not a lot of support on our end, and it caused a substantial amount of burnout in my field. We saw a lot of paramedics that left the field. Some of them had been on for, 15, 17, 20 years that we lost. These people just couldn't hack it anymore. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's not that they couldn't hack it. They just refused to deal with the bullshit anymore, and they just left. I have nothing but respect for them. Like, I obviously harbor no resentment for them. They did what they thought was right by them and their families, and personally, I hold all responsibility towards our supervisors and the health community as a whole. They just dropped the ball.
100%. I got to agree with you because, here and there, I remember very clearly, especially when I first got it, it was April 20th. You personally helped me through a lot of anxiety when I first had it. Like, I wasn't talking to doctors. I was talking to you because I trusted your experience and based what you were seeing versus what I seen everybody else. Give me 1 second because I'm trying to get K-pop on. She's
Yeah, no worries.
I'll just keep going on this until she gets back because she's gonna get back in.
Yeah, no
And
worries.
for me, talking to you was like really. There she goes. There you go. Did you hear us when we were talking K-pop?
I heard Clayton, I know, could hear me. I'm sorry, guys, for this total interruption. I'm just gonna go outside so you can see how fucking windy
Oh no, you
it
don't gotta
really is.
apologize, girl. Lady, you're in the middle
No,
of a
but I
freaking.
You're in the middle of a hurricane.
I'm not in Candace anymore. But look, you see it? Can you
You
hear
look
it?
good. Wait a second. Hold on. Your face again. You're looking pretty fire, girl. You're looking snackish. What's going on? I mean, you
Nothing.
always look great. I'm
Makeup.
saying. You always look great, but
No
you look
shots
particularly bangable right
thank
now. Sorry, Clay.
Oh, yeah.
All good. All good.
So, Chris, we were just talking about, we were going over what the differences in COVID when I had it. We're talking about Clayton as a paramedic. And, when I first got COVID, he was going through me. Oh, he was going through me. Oh, No,
Yeah.
I was going to him, getting my information from him. And then even when I wound up recovering from COVID, I was talking to him about my long-term COVID, which I had that nobody knew about, didn't know existed. He was the first person
have that.
brought that information to me that was a thing. Before any doctor in this country would even take me seriously, he introduced me to that theory. So I appreciated that greatly.
You're very welcome. I can't see why. I had just known that you were going through something, and I hope that my information was helpful to you because, like I was saying, the worst part about when this pandemic first happened was the lack of information. None of us knew anything.
No.
So
They didn't. How was it for you down in Florida, K-pop, when COVID first hit?
Well, long story short, can you guys see me?
Yes,
I just
you're
want to
good.
make sure.
You look snacky.
Okay. So I moved down to Florida from New York, February 29th, 2020. So COVID was just like brewing. It wasn't nothing nobody was really taking seriously. And I remember my old boss was like, "Oh, the Wuhan's gonna come and it's gonna be big." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about, Wuhan?" Right? So then I started seeing people buying all these waters and shit, and I'm like, "Okay, everyone's bugging out." Right? I come down here and I'm homeless because I just decided to pick up New York and leave looking for a place. Not that I was homeless, I had the means for it, but I was looking for a place. I just said, fuck it, we're going to get up, we're going to leave. I stayed with my friend for 2 weeks, found the place in 2 weeks, then COVID fucking banged. Okay, COVID banged. All of a sudden, I started seeing waters being gone, toilet paper being gone. I go into a store, right? Just moved to Orlando, decided to go out by myself one day, explore. And this guy is like, "You better get a gun. You better get rice because it's going down." And I'm like, "What? What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah.
So, anyway, long story short, Disney World shut down, New York City shut down, everything shut down. I was like acting like I was in the movie The 12 Monkeys. You ever seen The 12 Monkeys?
yeah,
Good movie.
Where they're fucking
yeah.
washing people off and shit.
Yeah.
I would be the store runner, and I'd come back like, "Oh my god," taking my clothes off because nobody knew what was going on. Long story short, I had 2 family members die from it. In 2021 in August, they died a week apart from each other. It was my cousin Rich. Fucking rest in peace. Is my cousin, my brother. I'm an only child. He was the closest thing that I had to a brother. Spent many, many, many summers with him. And his father, my uncle Joey. Rest in peace to both of them. They share the same birthday, November 9th. And they got sick with COVID. My uncle Joey was in a nursing home. If you hear the banging, it's the doors slamming from the hurricane.
Don't worry.
And my uncle was already in a nursing home and had a lot of underlying conditions. So once we found out that he had COVID, it was so expected that he was going to die. So my aunt was mentally preparing. But my cousin Rich, who was only 43, fucking healthy motherfucker, a surfer, a skater, a hunter, Like he did it all, and he was very active, a biker. He became a biker in his last spits of life. Fucking wound up in the hospital at the same time as his dad. They both had COVID. Two separate places they got it from. There were two separate areas. His father wound up dying. Rich wound up dying, and that was one of the hardest losses that I've ever faced to this day. Well, one of the hardest. And I got the shot after that because I got really scared. Like it became real to me. It became real to me because my cousin didn't have any underlying diseases.
Yeah.
You know, it became real to me at that point. However, my cousin had ammonia, and ammonia has water in your lungs, right?
Yep.
So him suffering from that one night, he woke up, he couldn't breathe. He couldn't breathe. And he started going into congestive heart failure. And he was on the machine already to breathe.
Yeah.
And they started pumping the machine on him more. And so the combustion from the air to the water made basically his heart explode.
Jesus. Clay.
So he died basically from a heart attack, congestive heart failure with secondary to COVID.
Yeah.
So
I hear a lot
that
of
really
people.
fucked my family.
Yeah. Clay, do you think that a lot
And
of people?
I got sick and I was like almost on my deathbed. Sorry to cut you off. I have long-term COVID too. So keep
Yeah.
going, John.
Yeah. So do you think, Clay, that in Canada, especially in Manitoba where you are, which is more considered to be more rural than the more southern parts of Canada, is that correct?
Well, so not necessarily. So within Manitoba, Manitoba is a province, kind of like there's the states, right?
Gotcha.
So within the province, we have. I live in southern Manitoba, and our closest city has
Ontario.
a giver. Well, it's very much a smaller city to those of you that are in the United States. I know, like you're in New York, and when I say it's got a population of about 850,000 people, that's probably not a lot to you. But here in where I'm from, that's a relatively urban area. And when I talk about the city in which I work in, it's our city has 850,000 people, and it's very socioeconomically disenfranchised. We have
Yeah.
a very poor segment of the population. Um, that being said, like we do have affluent individuals as well, and we have the middle class and affluent, but a lot of the population where I live is socioeconomically disenfranchised. They're poor, and
That was a great word you used, by
oh,
the way.
thank you. But yeah,
That was a great word.
their poverty is a very, very real thing where I work. We have one of the highest homeless populations in Canada in our city. Drugs are a real thing, especially when you're talking to segments of the population that are poor, that are socioeconomically disenfranchised. There's the violent crimes. There's all of the stuff that comes along, right? And I'm not trying to paint anything by a specific brush, but
No, of
the
course.
statistics are the way that they are. In poorer segments of the population, certain things are the norm, and violence, drug abuse, and even we're talking like health concerns. If you are in a poor part of the population, you don't have the ability to buy the healthier groceries. You don't have the ability to, take off work if you need to go see a doctor. You don't have the ability to get certain things that people would normally contribute to their health, right? So, there's a lot of what I'll call like secondary health concerns involved in populations that are, poor or socioeconomically disenfranchised. There's things that other segments of the population just don't think about. If you're affluent or even middle class, you don't realize that it's hard for somebody to take time off to go see a doctor. Like if you got, unless you see it on a regular basis, you don't realize that, sometimes if you're homeless, struggling and living on the streets, that methamphetamines or opioids are the way to escape. They're kind of the only reason.
Their way to to escape.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I mean, like people who live in other segments of the world don't realize that those are conditions that are predominantly in poor communities.
Do you think that the indigenous people in the area that has a higher population in Canada, in Manitoba, are given the same or struck with the same or more so of, say, mental health issues based on rampant or higher drug uses in their different cultures and systems?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be able to quote statistics specifically, but based on purely anecdotal things that I've seen,
Yeah,
there
your
is
opinion, your personal opinion. This is not about what statistically national polls are taking everything. This is just what you see, what your experiences are.
I mean, from my experience, I see a lot of drug abuse. I see a lot of mental health concerns. I would say that honestly, 80% of the calls that we go on have some mental health component. Whether that's, anything from a fear of calling 911, a fear of having, they maybe had a bad healthcare experience in the past, and so they're scared to call 911, or, they think they might get in trouble with the law if they call 911, if they're, overdosing or something to that effect. Or something where, they, like they're having a psychotic episode, or they're having a mental health breakdown, or they're having something to do with that. Like we deal with it all. And I mean, maybe my vantage point on it is a little bit skewed because I work 911 emergency service, right? Like I see a lot of people, but a lot of the calls that I go on have a mental health component to them.
Yeah.
And I think it's important for
Really?
paramedics or for people who work in emergency healthcare to be cognizant of that, to be approachable, and to be compassionate and caring for the individual. And sometimes you got to bring out your dad voice on calls, right? But sometimes you got to know how to not do that. You got to know how to kind of be compassionate, caring, and understanding, and realize that people are going through some shit, right? Like
Be comforting
Right.
to what they're going through. Make them feel comfortable. Make them. I think. I mean, from a town that we both grew up in, Yonkers. I mean, same the way you just described it is the same way I would describe Yonkers. Like, um, I know you see a lot, Clayton. Man, like, have you?
I mean, touching on a mental
Do you
health,
see?
I recently just took a day off work a couple days ago because we went to a traumatic call, and I won't get into specifics of the call in and of itself, but an individual decided to take their life by shotgun, and those calls are not
So sorry.
very, they're gruesome, they're terrible. And just leaving the call, I realized that I had my adrenaline was heightened, and I was a little bit agitated. Not that I haven't seen these things 1,000 times before, but it doesn't matter. It never gets easier to see certain things. And so I went home, and I have a wonderful support system with my wife, and I talked to my wife, and we had a conversation, and I'm lucky enough that with my service, and I was able to take the next day off. And my thought process being that
Good.
I took the day off because I don't want to have these things build up on me over years, and then all of a sudden I'm gone for a year, or I have to take a year off on stress leave, or God forbid I do something stupid and yell at my family or hurt my family emotionally, right? Like I don't want to do that. So I just decided to take the day. We did a little bit of retail therapy, went for a run. It was nice to just kind of, just not to be at work. And I think it's important to do that
Yo,
too.
I think that's so fucking amazing, and I commend you for recognizing, especially in the field that you're in, because I have a big problem with everyone in first responders. Like, you guys should be making millions of dollars. Straight
Absolutely.
up. Straight the fuck
100%.
up. Every minute of your job is accountable for saving somebody's life. And you're doing that before the doctors. You're the one that has probably saved so much for the doctors to do, and you're the one that sees the cold, raw,
Yeah,
fucking shit that's there.
yeah.
The blood, the gore,
Mm-hmm,
the pills, the needles, the
mm-hmm,
gunshots. And you're putting yourself on the line for that as well.
yeah.
You know, so when I learned about what they also make out here, I was very turned off
No,
by that. Like,
it's
um,
despicable.
because you guys are the foundation of saving someone's life. You guys, it's really on you
Mm-hmm.
guys. And I'm not trying to put pressure, but
No, hey, no.
I just want to stress the fact that paramedics, EMT workers, you guys go so
Thank you.
underappreciated. And I want to tell you that I think you guys are fucking superstars and rock
Thank
stars.
you. I should note, and I don't know specifics, but we are, at least in my service anyway, we are paid considerably more than most other paramedic services in, well, most in Canada, and then most in the United States. I think that's one of the benefits to our healthcare system, is that what I'll call like ancillary healthcare professionals, people that aren't doctors, generally make a lot more than other places in the world, right? And that being said, there's a lot more responsibility put on us in a lot of cases. There's a lot of things that we do. We perform every aspect of emergency care that they would do, aside from diagnostics, that a hospital or resus room would do, for like resuscitative care.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there's a lot of pressure put on us. There's a lot of responsibility put on us, but we are compensated quite well for it, I think, in our service.
And you deserve to be. And just like K-pop said, you absolutely deserve to be. You're the first responders. You're the first ones there.
Thank you.
And you just don't have my respect. You have my appreciation.
Thank you very much.
And we all need to remember that it's not just in the times of crisis that we have to remember the good that people are doing in your situation. We have to remember it when there are not times of crisis too, and not forget what one pandemic or natural disaster or something that comes along, to be reminded of it. We have to remember it at all times. You know, it's just, we can't forget. We just can't forget. It's important. Clay, can you hear K-pop?
I can't see or hear her, no.
Okay. I'm just going to hit her up again. Again, she's having technical difficulties down there.
No worries.
You ever get tempted to log into Star Trek Fleet Command again?
Yes, absolutely. Every once in a while. Yeah. Absolutely. I still see the ads for it on different places.
Dude, I don't know how to play it. I don't know what anything is. After Armadas, I'm done. I got no idea. I have no clue whatsoever what to do.
Have you been on in the last little while?
Just yesterday, I just hopped in the chat. I'm still in MQ. I'm still in the Maquis. And I got promoted somehow. The admirals changed. There's a whole bunch of new people. I don't know anybody. So, you know, my normal shtick of jumping into the chat with something horrendous to say did not land as good as it used to. So, you know, got a couple of people upset. Yeah, still just, you know, Zap Brannigan, still there, still going. All right. We're going to wait for K-pop to pop on. It's funny. And then we're going to start getting ready to wrap up. I'm going to do some editing on this and everything and make it, you know, great. Once it's done, I'll send you the copy of it. It's going to go through Precious Trauma YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. There she is. Welcome home, my love. Oh, she's gone again. All right. Wait for her to get back. Like these pauses and stuff like that, I'll just edit it out. So
yeah, no worries.
You're there twice now. Can't hear you.
Can see you, but we can't hear you.
Can't hear you. But I know what you just said. Cannot hear a word. What I love, I'm going to put the idea as lip syncing. John Block, you are so amazing. I love you so much. You are like the cutest thing ever. I would leave my husband for you in an instant. I believe what she said. And she's gone again. Oh, again, we'll fix that in editing and whatnot. But, yeah, no, go ahead. You go by. No, I got this screen thing on. Go. You can go. Yeah. You seen Chris's shoulders?
Yeah, I did.
You don't want to flex for him, do you? No, you won't do that. Okay. Guy's a fucking bodybuilder.
Thanks.
Don't know why he's with me. That's why I'm trying to get thin. I'm in competition.
Yeah, man. There you go.
She'll be back on again in a sec.
Buddy.
How's everything else going, though, otherwise? Like, up there, how are you guys doing?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're chugging along. We're making do with what we can.
Gotcha. Are you going to head down to the States at any point for vacation anytime soon?
Yeah, you know what? I was actually thinking about somewhere warmer. I have holidays in March,
Okay.
which here is usually a pretty cold time for us. So,
Listen, if you want to hit Florida in March, we could arrange it because Chris's mom lives down there. I
okay,
would love to meet up with you down there wherever you wind up.
yeah. You know what? We should let's seriously consider this actually because
Star
we
Trek.
can.
Chris was just asking me if you were from Star Trek or DC Universe.
I'm not bad.
Shep 86. He said the best line I've ever heard in my life. People are only homophobic because they're concerned that A, they may be gay or dicks are delicious.
I still hold that one. If anybody I can one or two of those, right? Either they're concerned that they don't understand basic science, or they're worried that dicks are delicious.
Bro, that to this day. I gave you credit the first 7 times, and after that, I say I made it up myself. But
At least I got 7 times out of it.
It was freaking hilarious, and I still to this day use that from there.
Yeah.
Let's see, K-pop's reception of the wind blowing is okay. All right.
Do you want to take 5? Or
No,
step
we're
out
just
for a
gonna wrap
guard
up.
and then we can. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap up because she's got no reception. But Clay, I just want to say again, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Again, the goal is to spread information and kill some of the misconceptions of mental health and what people go through. I think you're, my grandmother would say, a mensch for being as strong as you are for your family and everything you're doing. And I'm going to see if I can get Chrissy on Messenger real quick. Because he got it right here. Hold on, I'm going to kill my Bluetooth so he can hear you. Where there's a will, there's a way. There, everybody. K-pop's on Facebook Messenger.
Dude, yo, I want to share with him the PBS thing.
Go for it.
Talking about poverty.
You can hear her, right?
Yep, I can hear you.
Hear me?
Yep, we can hear you good. Go ahead.
This has been, even though I was cut off so many times and we didn't get to, I would love to do a part 2 with you.
Sure.
That'd
Yeah,
be cool.
absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'd be happy to come
Okay.
on.
Because I would really love that. Hence, there won't be any hurricanes, hopefully. I appreciated everything you've shared. I have a lot of more questions for you, so that's why I'm like, dude, you have to do a part 2 without interruption. You know, unless it's for the
100%.
kids or something.
Cool beans. Hey, K-pop, why don't you take us out? And we're going to do our wrap-up right now. Go for it.
Okay, so I just want to thank, first and foremost, our very, very important VIP motherfucking guest, lifesaver, literally, Clayton from Canada. Hey!
Hey!
Hockey, yeah? Are you a hockey fan?
I can be. I work too much to be a hockey fan.
He could drink the beer.
Yeah, I can drink the beer. That's right.
But I wanted to say thank you to our listeners. We love and appreciate you, babies, always. And Clayton, we're coming back for part 2, so make sure you stay tuned for part 2 because K-pop right here got some more questions.
Awesome.
Bye, guys.
This was a great idea for you to call on Messenger. That's actually really freaking cool. The way that popped up over there. See, this is K-pop. That's the power of ADHD.
Yeah, there you go.
No matter what,
Listen,
she figured out the problem solving.
We figured out the problem quick. Long story short, like when I was younger, my bra strap broke. I couldn't fucking do nothing. I stapled that bitch right back together. We went on with our day. Just saying.
Nice.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
That's
All
right.
right, K-pop. Talk to you later, love. Bye. Clayton, thank you so much for being on. Really appreciate it. I'll send you the copies after it's edited and everything. This was great.
Yep.
Dude, it's good to see you. Won't be a stranger. We'll just keep being strange.
Absolutely. That's right.
Talk
Take
to you later.
care,
My
man.
best to Nat and the kids.
Will do. Take care, man.